Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Eva Misfah Bayuni. I am a lecturer in the Islamic Banking Study Program, Faculty of Sharia, Universitas Islam Bandung. At this event, I will present the result of my research entitled The Influence of Money Holding Ethic on the Behavior of Individual Muslims During the COVID-19 Pandemic. I submitted this paper to the Scientific Forum of Bandung International Conference for Social and Humanities Research Symposium, SoRes 2022. My presentation at this time is divided into 4 parts. First, introduction. Second, methodology. Third, the result and discussion. And 4, conclusion. In my presentation here, the influence of money holding ethics on the behavior of Muslim individuals during the COVID-19 pandemic. And my presentation here divided into 4 parts: introduction, methodology, the result and discussion, and the conclusion. The first is introduction. Islam regulated sign on how to obtain property and own it, common referred to by fiqh expert as asbabul milkiyah, namely the factors that cause a person to declare legitimate to own property. The ethic of holding money for a Muslim includes first how to get it, second its use limitation and its distribution allocation, and third, the ethic of holding money. And the COVID-19 pandemic has indirectly affected people's behavior in holding money. Next is the purpose of this research. This study aims to determine the effect of ethical holding of money on the behavior of individual Muslims, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the methodology we use in this research is this study uses quantitative research method data in the form of numbers by using the type of file research. And the object of this research is the Muslim community of West Java. And this research using a sample of 399 people. The sampling technique used is convenience sampling, and the data used in this study is primary data. The data analysis technique is used SPSS 16% software. And the variables in this study first is how to get money, X1, usage limit or limitation in use money, X2, distribution allocation or money allocation, X3, and behavior of Muslim individual is Y. Next is the result of this research. The first is the result of the t-test. The variable how to get money has a significant influence on the behavior of Muslim individuals of 0.207 or 20.7%, which means that the effect is classified as very weak. Furthermore, the distribution of money use variables, X3, has a significant influence on the behavior of Muslim individuals, Y, of 0.442 or 44.2%, which means that the effect is quite sufficient. Thus, the X3 variable has a higher partial effect when compared to the X1 variable. On the other hand, when compared to the two variables, the variable limitation in the use of money, X2, does not have a partial effect on the variable behavior of Muslim individuals. Even this X2 variable has a negative coefficient value, even though the value is very small, namely negative 0.015 or negative 1.5%. Furthermore, it can be concluded that the result of the t-test of this research equation with the multiple regression method are as follows. And based on this research of the calculation in the table above, it can be concluded that the variable x1 and x3 each have a partial effect on y variable, while the x2 variable does not have a partial effect on the y variable. Next is the result of the f-test. Based on the result of the calculation in the table above, it can be concluded that all variables x1, x2, and x3 each have a simultaneous influence on y variable. Next is the result of coefficient determination. The basis for decision making in this test is seen in the value of r squared. In this study, it can be concluded that the magnitude of the influence of the variable x1, x2, and x3 is 21.1%, and the remaining 78.9% is influenced by other variables not examined in this study. Based on this result, it can also be concluded that the influence of all independent variables in this study, both ways of getting money, x1, limits of the use money, x2, and distribution of money, x3, and the behavior of productive, moderate, and stable Muslim individuals, sy, is classified as very weak influence of 21.1%. But the finding of this research, we can see partially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the variable how to get money, x1, had a significant effect on the behavior of productive Muslim individual by 20.7%, and the distribution variable using money, x3, had a significant effect on y by 44.2%. On the other hand, the variable limitation of the use of money, x2, has no partial effect on the y variable. In fact, this variable x2 has a negative coefficient value even though the value is very small, namely negative 1.5%. Furthermore, simultaneously all variables x1, x3, x2, and x3 during the COVID-19 pandemic each have a joint influence on the y variables. And the discussion of this research in Islamic economic, humans are also encouraged to try and work to meet their needs. One's wealth should not be used for self-interest, but must set aside part of its acquisition value for the benefit of zakah, infaq, and sadaqah for the benefit of the people. From an Islamic perspective, Muhadis state that the fulfillment of needs must also be done sparingly, namely to avoid being extravagant. However, according to research by Ridwan and Andrianto, the prohibition of wasteful spending is one of the ethics of consumption for a Muslim, with relative or subjective limitation. The subjectivity of the wasteful limits is written to income, social status, community environment, and also one's social responsibilities. Okay, the next is conclusion. Conclusion in this research, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala made humans as rules of property on earth to be used according to the rules He made for the common good. Therefore, humans are limited by rules that must be maintained in obtaining property, utilizing property, and developing it. Overall, although the value of the influence is still very small, the results of this study are reliable and valid to represent empirically the test of human as rules of property on Earth, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your full attention. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.